So we're rapidly approaching the end of the original run of Doctor Who. So now we're to the season where the show really does redeem itself after just the disaster that was season 24 with season 25, where we do start to see the show and the Doctor start to go in a new direction. So it starts off with a bang, which is probably one of my all-time favorite Doctor Who stories. A lot of people may disagree, but we start to see focus on the background mythology of the Doctor in a way that we hadn't seen before with this. It brings back the Daleks, they climb stairs, brings us back to 1963, and the DVD itself has been released twice. This is the original 2002 Region 1, and this is the special edition. The first one to come out, and I think this had originally been planned out to come in, I think it was maybe 2010 or something. It was held off for a while because they weren't even halfway through the release point, and then they announced they were coming out with Remembrance of the Daleks, and people wondered why they were doing a release, and it ended up being held back it was pushed back for I think maybe a year, even longer, but it did eventually come out, with new features, and this started this special edition re-release of Doctor Who. So Remembrance of the Daleks, so good revisioning. And then we go into the Happiness Patrol. Now, in some ways, this goes back to what they were doing in the first season, but here it comes off a little better. I'd say this is definitely in the realm of absurdist science fiction, and the Candyman is just horrifying. And the TARDIS goes pink in this one. Still very absurdist, not traditional Doctor Who, but here you can see kind of what they were trying to do in season 24 and did succeed to a certain extent with the Happiness Patrol. It's not really one that you watch and cringe. It's more those like, what's going on? This is just, it's different. So, in some ways it was a good change. And then we go from there to Silver Nemesis. Now this was designed to be Doctor Who's 25th anniversary special, which is a little odd because when they did the 20th, they did the 5 Doctors, and obviously they did a massive celebration just this year for the 50th. But this one, you don't it does, start to further address, who is this Doctor, where is he coming from, what's his backstory. And they decide to bring back the Cybermen for this one. It's not as strong as Remembrance of the Daleks, but it's still, you can start to see Doctor Who getting back on track to where it was as a decent show. But as a 25th anniversary special, it wasn't, even though the 5 Doctors is not great, at least, there's kind of this celebration feel behind it, which Silver Nemesis, aside, from some background context and trying to define who the Doctor is, it doesn't have that whole celebration vibe behind it. And the author, Kevin Clark, who wrote this in the documentary, said, the idea is what he was coming up with is, who's the Doctor? The Doctor's God. So John Nathan Turner said you could do it, but you can't say it. So here we're seeing kind of a subtle reinterpretation of the Doctor as God, kind of, which I don't think would have worked had they really carried that through. They don't really do so much the God thing, but the devious background and all that stuff really comes through in season 26. But anyway, so that's Silver Nemesis. And then we're back to, just like Happiness Control, back to what I refer to as absurdist science fiction. Now this one's, if you don't like clowns, don't watch this one. Although it does, unfortunately, have one of the cheesiest moments in Doctor Who, which is the rap sequence at the beginning, which I guess at the time it was considered cool, but now it's just dated. So more or less, just a weird story, but it's actually really creepy, the way this is done. And, it's almost like, I guess if you have a fear of clowns and circuses and all that, so it's, it's got this circus background, but it's very dark, and I think, very well done. Like I said, I think season 25 all around is a fairly solid season. But the Happiness Patrol and Greatest Show from the Galaxy, they're not for everyone. They're almost an acquired taste. And yeah, they're just different. But at least, they're trying something different that was good. rather than season 24. So yeah, so that's season 25. And next we're going to cover what is, in my view, one of the best seasons in Doctor Who's history, season 26, which unfortunately would be the last for a long time. So we'll cover that shortly. So as always, everyone, thank you for watching and have a great day.